A new AEW signing has been revealed. We're also going to discuss a little bit more about a huge WWE return that could take place on tonight's episode of WWE Raw and a huge change coming to Peacock. It's all happening right here on the Ango Show. Ladies and gentlemen, welcome back to TAS. Let's just jump right into it. Peacock, the host of WWE's tape library, premium live events, is making a major change. NBC Universal is the latest to change the price of their streaming service. At this point, it's not necessarily a shocker because pretty much every single streaming service is doing this. But in mid-July, Peacock will raise the price of Peacock Premium with ads to $7.99, which is a $2 price increase. Peacock Premium, the tier that is mostly ad-free, will go up from $11.99 to $13.99. And for those who pay annually for Peacock Premium, the price will go from $59.99 to $79.99. Now, the annual price for Premium Plus will go up from $119.99 to $139.99 per year. The prices will take effect on July 18th for new subscribers, and for existing subscribers, the price will take place on the next billing date on or after August 17th. Now, look, guys, the reality is this. Streaming services aren't really profitable. In fact, I would go as far as saying that streaming is the worst thing that's essentially ever happened to television. Because with all the price increases across multiple services, most people who have multiple streaming apps are paying an increased price. And obviously, the more money that these companies spend to get content, they need to make up for it somehow. That's why a lot of these streaming companies aren't really profitable. Now, quite honestly, I use Peacock. And I use Netflix. I use HBO. I use Amazon Prime. I use TNA Plus. What else do I use? Apple TV Plus. MLS Season Pass. I mean, quite frankly, the amount of streaming services that I use are a lot. The monthly price that I pay is really no different than a cable bill. That's the problem with streaming. Now, for Peacock, obviously, I cover WWE and I watch the premium live events. And I love having the tape library accessible. In the initial stages of Peacock, I found myself using Peacock a lot for other movies. More specifically, old comedy movies from like the early 2000s. As time goes on, these streaming services also remove content. And I don't know what it is about Peacock, but as time went on, I find myself strictly just using it for WWE. Now, keep in mind, WWE will be moving to Netflix in 2025 for WWE Raw, which we obviously all know with Netflix spending a crazy amount of money for WWE and to get new TV shows and new movies. And in addition to that, now they're doing the Jake Paul-Mike Tyson fight. Netflix will probably have another price increase at some point. I think it's getting out of hand. And truth be told, I can understand why people hate streaming. I'm hoping, at the very least, and my prediction is that at some point this year, we're going to see multiple companies who are struggling financially. Paramount Plus is one that's been struggling. HBO Max or Max, whatever, that's been struggling financially. A lot of these apps that are struggling financially, I think we're going to see companies basically do what they did with cable years ago, and it's just going to get into packages where you're going to be able to pay for HBO, Netflix, and Peacock for $30 a month, and you get all three. Right? We're already starting to see it with Disney, ESPN Plus, and Hulu. I think we're going to see multiple companies come together and say, let's just package everything together for a flat rate. And who knows what that price will be. But if you're somebody who uses Peacock, this is something that's good to know. Usually price increases while you might get notified. Sometimes, you forget or you don't think about it. So just a reminder, pay attention. Ladies and gentlemen, Braun Strowman is expected back in the WWE, coming back from injury. Now, when will it happen? That is the big question everybody wants to know. Obviously, WWE has the draft. And as I said in the beginning of today's video, this could be an interesting situation. So, PW Insider has reported that Braun Strowman is in fact in town for tonight's show. As of this writing, it is unclear whether or not he will appear, and if so, whether he will be announced as a draft pick. Now, you got to remember last year he did the neck fusion surgery. He's been sidelined since, May or something like that. Obviously there's been a lot of talk and a lot of rumors about Braun Strowman. This guy's a former world champion. This guy, obviously, he hasn't really been utilized much in this Triple H Endeavor thing, right? We haven't seen him. So what is it going to look like with him under the new era of WWE? I go back to my original prediction. My original prediction from months ago, it's the Wyatt Six. I think we see Braun Strowman, Eric Rowan, Bo Dallas, Uncle Howdy, Alexa Bliss, and one more person. I think we see it. Now, originally, my prediction was Joe Gacy, but we'll see what actually happens. I think Braun Strowman is a hell of a talent. I do. Coming back from neck fusion surgery, you don't want to risk it. Now, we know that Ricochet will be on WWE Raw. I'm kind of curious if maybe Braun Strowman and Ricochet try to recreate that magic that they had as a tag team, because it actually did work. But I think the better use of Braun Strowman is, in fact, as part of the Wyatt Six. He has that history with Bray Wyatt and the Wyatt family. If Eric Rowan's back in the company and everybody who was tied to Bray is part of this, it could be a really cool storyline. I know not everybody will agree, but there is less risk for Braun Strowman being there, and therefore I think it's a good idea. Ladies and gentlemen, Camille Brick has officially signed with AEW. We've talked about this for months and months and months, but we didn't know if it was actually official. And now it appears it is actually official. And it sounds like it's been official for all these months that we've waited, but it sounds like AEW has yet to use her, and that is the big question mark. So basically, here's what you need to know. Sean Ross Sapp of Fightful Select had reported that she is slated to join AEW and is currently under contract with the company, but it is unclear when she will make her debut. Now, Tony Khan was obviously very outspoken in media scrums about beefing up his women's division. He brought in Deonna Purrazzo. He brought in Mercedes Moné. They didn't sign Julia, but they did sign Camille Brick. Now, she came from NWA, held the NWA Women's Championship for like 800 and something days. She's got the look. There was rumors that WWE was interested. There was rumors that WWE was interested in bringing her to NXT. And at that time, several months ago when we talked about this, it's like, hey, one of the things that you need to keep in mind, going to NXT, probably a good idea, right? Get your foot in the door. First of all, learn the WWE system, learn how they do things, get, situated, and then go through the process of getting called up. Now, obviously, the risk of that is NXT contracts don't pay as much as main roster contracts. Now, for WWE, bringing in Camille probably could have been a good thing. She would fit very well in WWE. I actually think she's going to fit extremely well with AEW, which is why I'm so weird about this whole situation, because if she's been in this company for months and they haven't utilized her, the question is why? Now, is it an injury situation? Is it, not necessarily having creative plans? I don't know. And I don't want to judge AEW for something like that because, again, they haven't announced her. They haven't put an All Elite graphic. They haven't had her debut. But it kind of reminds me of EJ and Duca. You guys might remember him from Ezra Judge from NXT, right? He's been in AEW. I think we saw him on like one episode of Collision. They never announced that he signed, but like it's a known fact that he signed. There's just a lot of confusion as to why certain talent have been, signing to AEW and they haven't even been utilized yet. So that's my question. That's what I want to know the answer to. She'll fit in well. The women's division is getting back on track. It's not perfect, but now you got Deonna and Thunder Rosa killing it. Not for a championship. Like, that's the kind of stuff you want to see on TV. Storylines and feuds for good reason, not just for title belts. So I'm kind of scratching my head. Why isn't she there? But at the end of the day, she's there. She's getting paid. And we'll leave it at that. Ladies and gentlemen, that is the Ango Show.